Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. All right, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Valentine's Day. I wore a red shirt in honor of love. It's also my I am not a robot shirt. Very proud of that. So anyway, hope everyone's doing okay. As we know, we're all in love with Bitcoin and crypto trading. So we all have something, you know? Anyway, so just quick announcement. Cryptoinfluencers.com is my home base. This is the free channel right here. And the pro channel's here in case you're interested. We do a live stream every Wednesday at 12:30, we'll say, Mountain Time. And so that'll be tomorrow. So you'll have to bring a few questions and help me make the conversation more interesting than me just totally monologuing. But apart from that, let's jump into this insane day. I cannot believe everything that is happening today. Number one, I did wake up at 6:30 because I wanted to see what the results were. And inflation is pretty flat. I mean, it went down a teeny bit, and it did not go down as much as expectations. So normally that should be taken as a very bearish thing, because what happens, interest rates have been, the interest rates have gone up because of inflation, and as the economy has, room to spend extra or to overpay for things, it makes, prices go up and whatnot. There's a lot of details in there, but the general idea is that if we have unemployment at a 50-year low, and now we're showing that inflation is not coming down, or not coming down as much as expected, and certainly if their target is 2 and we're at 6.4 or whatever, we're way off, and we have a year, like we've got a long road ahead to deal with that and see if we can bring it back into normal parameters. So it's a mess. It's ugly. And what should the market have done? It should have come down a little bit from that news, because there was nothing good about that report. So if I go to the 1-minute chart, this is what happened. This was the response. News broke actually 2 minutes before. So right here, like we had a wild spike right before the news came out. And then the second it came out, it just plummeted all the way down to 21,500 almost. Yeah, 520. And then in the next few minutes, it just popped all the way back up to where we were trading. And then we were sagging down. This was a normal response to bad news. And then out of nowhere, the market decided to absolutely go wild. And this didn't just happen on Bitcoin. It happened on the S&P as well. So yeah, let me get our charts in alignment here. Yeah, so here's the stock market. The market opens here at 1430. So Bitcoin went down until the market opened. And then the market opened and convinced the whole world that this was the best news that anyone has ever seen in their life. And so the market just launched, which was so weird. It's like completely opposite of what rationally should have happened. And then we came down, and I thought maybe this was just a full, this was just a whale fake out pump before we went back down, because we ended up back down where we were when we opened the stock market this morning. Of course, Bitcoin didn't come back down that far, so it's still up there. And then as we slowly played out the rest of our day, we've been climbing and climbing all the way up to close. So maybe someone smarter than me understands the market better than I do, but this seemed upside down to me. So I'm pretty confused by that result, but that's, that's just the nature of trading. You think you put in your kind of your best guesses, and you do the best you can, and then market gives you whatever it gives you. So now let's kind of analyze this. So we'll go back to our higher time frames. We're looking at the daily again, and we're just looking at Bitcoin now. And the question is this a complete game changer for us? It's pretty wild that we found support on this line. I'm still kind of freaking out about it because it was absolutely perfection. And now we're lifting off. Well, let's pretend that this is a momentum shift, that we've come up and we're pulling back, and that we're still pulling back. So just hypothetically, let's just go with that. There is a level of support right up here that is very clear, right up in here. This level of support is undeniable. We have a million touches, candle body off the bottom, another support, another support, another support, and it was such a big support that it took a big candle to break it, right? Boom. Somehow we magically came right down to the tip top of this wick here and our prior trading range. And what's the next move? What's the most logical next move if we're breaking down? If we're breaking down, we would actually pull up in and find this line as resistance. That's if the breakdown is intact. If it's not intact, then this price would break through that line, come back, find it as support, and then it would come down and find it as support, and then we're off. And honestly, if that happens, I will pocket whatever loss I've got on my Bitcoin short, and I'm going long, because that is going to be extremely bullish. But right now, nothing's broken. Everything is still bearish, and there's still a rejection waiting for us. This line right here, in case you're curious, is 22,625. It can be here. It can be as low as maybe like 22,500 or something like that. Yeah, I would say 22,500 as the worst case. And the reason why is if I go to the weekly, we have a wick, this wick right here. This is our swing high, because we have a high and a low, and we have two lower highs on either side, and we have two lower lows on either side. So this is our swing high. If we came up and tapped this wick as resistance, this is still falling down. So there's just a lot. There's a lot here. The market is really odd, though. Very, very strange to see that reaction to bad news. And I'm not sure how to really interpret that, because most often, you can kind of be, it's usually the chart says something, and then the news, people are putting the pieces together to say what the news is afterwards. This one was bad news, and the market either shrugged it off, or somehow it was good news. But I don't think it was. So anyway, very, very interesting price action. The price action is more important than the news. So whatever the price action says is what we go with, because that's what's telling the story. But very, very interesting. If we go to the S&P, you can see that we are kind of on the move. This bearish harami is usually a turnaround point. I've been expecting a touch on this line before we get going, but yeah, very, very interesting. So we had a bearish formation and then bearish news, and then we went up instead, which is kind of odd. On the daily, it looks like we're consolidating. We have pulled up, but now we're kind of consolidating. So I still think there's probably a drop coming in the fairly near future, but that's just the way it looks to me. As far as Bitcoin, though, just really, really interesting. Our weekly bearish, our weekly death cross will close in 5 days. So once this candle is in the books, the death cross is old news, and then we kind of go from there. But last I checked, death crosses are bearish, and so I wouldn't expect us to just rush back up into the cross and just launch. But markets can do whatever they want. So speaking of death cross, there's a death cross on the weekly and Bitcoin on the 4 hour. So I've been looking at the 4 hour a little bit more, lately. Just kind of watching things play out, especially with this Wyckoff. But the last golden cross we had was down here. Price action was, we were at 17,300. So we've been at 17,300. Golden cross, and we move up, and normally you would exit a trade. You'd normally exit this at the cross of the 50 and the 100, which would have been an exit of 21.9. That would have been your close. But now, on the 4 hour, we have officially had another death cross. So this death cross happened at the price of 22,250, somewhere right in there. In fact, right where our price action is currently. And with death crosses, oftentimes we will pull up into the death cross and then we will reject as we would expect. So as strange as this price action is, we have moved up into this 4 hour death cross, and I just don't think this leg has a lot more room on it. So I feel like we're probably going to reject here. But what happens at the other side of this, I'm not sure, because this is pretty unusual. Look what's happening here. We've dropped down and found a bottom for sure. And our highest high of any kind was like right here. So we hit a bottom. This ended up being a lower high than this. This became a solid higher high. This one's pretty undeniable. Clean as a bell as far as a swing high on this candle right here. So we have our bottom, we have a nice swing high, and then we have a lower bottom. So this is very, very interesting. This one ultimately, yeah, it's actually this candle here that became our swing low because we have the two on either side. So this candle's our swing low, this candle's our swing high, this low, the swing low down here is a drop from here. So what we have is we have a move being produced where we're losing momentum on the downside. But now we've got this odd move to the upside right here. And look at this. This, so if I take, it's usually from this bottom here. We'll see if it matches or not. No, not very well. Not very well. Let me move this to a place that makes sense. Yeah, I guess the bottom of this candle, top of this one. So let me hide the Kelvin moving averages. Look what we're doing here. We currently have higher highs on the 4 hour, and we have higher lows on the 4 hour. So what this is called, it's called a broadening formation. So it's characterized by an increase in volatility. Two diverging lines, one rising, one falling. And what's the interpretation of this? It just shows that there's more volatility, and it happens when a market is experiencing heightened disagreement among investors over the appropriate price of the security over a short period of time. So their buyers are becoming increasingly willing to buy at higher prices, and sellers find ever motivation to take profits at the bottom. So this is a really unusual formation. But if this formation holds, and it's barely begun, because you need 3 points to create a line, right? The bottom only has 2 points. The top has 3, technically. But the next move should be a move to the downside. So whatever this bottom leg gives us is really going to be the deciding factor. Because if we pull back and find support here, and then we're rushing back up to the top of this, we just might be starting to curve up out of this drop. You know, you have to take the chart for what it gives you. But if we reject and we come all the way back down to this line, then things are going to be really interesting, because this would be a pretty volatile move at this point. But yeah, so anyway, this is usually in play. Often when you enter a megaphone, I mean, you kind of watch which side breaks out, but often it's the direction you're heading into the megaphone that usually creates the continuation. So there's a couple of marks for the bears still, and we just kind of have to, you know, see how things go. But yeah, we have a death cross. We have the top side of a broadening formation. We do have a technical rejection off of the 50 on the 4-hour. And on the daily, I guess I don't need to see this one on our daily. Neither this. Sorry to have to do that. It'd be nice if TradingView could read our minds, but there's just it's pretty unusual. I'm on the daily. I'm not worried about a move to this upside. I was expecting some kind of a move up, but ultimately we're well below our resistance now. This is now very strong resistance, and we're below our 20. We're, you know, bouncing up, but I do fully expect a rejection. I don't think there's any real support until we start interacting with some of our major averages, either the 50 or the 200. So my opinion remains exactly the way it was. You know, when markets, you know, I will change my mind when the market changes my mind. But when I'm looking at this, it still looks bearish to me. So we're rolling with it, and I'm going to see, you know, how things go, you know. But yeah, I thought maybe that might help inform, because it's been a weird day. It's been very weird. It's hard to kind of make sense of it. You know, why would we get such bad news in the market launches? No idea. But when I'm looking at this market, I see weakness. I don't see strength. So that's kind of where I stand. And hopefully, you know, we'll have more information at the close of today. And also with our live chat, if you guys have questions or any comments or any color to shed on this, I would totally be interested in your opinions. All right, that's it for today. We will talk to you all tomorrow. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.